I think as an artist, you return to familiar themes as a way of kind of relearning what inspires you. I go out on the coast quite a bit, and when I do, I'm always drawn to scenes of the crashing waves and the drama of the coastline. But there's also a side of me that loves stumbling upon a quiet cove, a peaceful place along the shoreline. There's one place I go to quite a bit with the family where I can actually walk along the coast and just see the reflections of the cliffs and the hillside as though it were a pane of glass reflecting, or a mirror. It is absolutely still and tranquil, especially at dusk. I think that's the theme of Serenity Cove, is the tranquility of nature. So often in my lighthouse scenes, I have painted the drama of the skies with dark clouds circling overhead. And you have the sense of the ominous power of nature. A seaside scene is very powerful when a storm breaks because the waves get enormous. I remember one time being with Nanette, and we were down in Monterey at one of our favorite spots where there are large rocks that you can climb upon and go out and stand almost as though you're in the middle of the ocean. We were out there one time and the waves were crashing all about us, and it was a real dramatic moment. I've painted the drama of the ocean many times. For example, my painting Courage features a lighthouse atop a cliff, and you can just see the wind lashing the smoke as it comes out of the chimney. Clearly, a storm is brewing. The same is true in my painting A Light in the Storm, as well as my painting Clearing Storms. Rock of Salvation is another one that presents nature in its most dramatic form as we see the waves crashing against the large cliff that the lighthouse is perched upon. But when I think of my lighthouse collection, I also think of Sea of Tranquility, which presents the gentler side of nature. It's as though the storms have cleared and we're able to see the quietude and the peacefulness of God's creation. That's really the theme of Serenity Cove. Serenity Cove portrays a place of complete security. I based the actual lighthouse and the lighthouse keeper's house on a real lighthouse, Marblehead Light. You will notice that instead of being on a towering cliff, the lighthouse is situated closer to the water's edge. Of course, this lighthouse is based on a lake, which is less dramatic in its tides. I think the lower vantage point creates a real sense of serenity as the painting emphasizes sweeping horizontal movement. I really enjoy painting autumn scenes, and this is one of the few lighthouses that has featured autumn color. Of course, it was autumn when I was able to visit the Marblehead Light. To me, this painting is all about the sky and the way it reflects in the water. I put layer upon layer of paint into this piece as a way of creating that luminous glow. Each layer is very transparent, but it allows the layer beneath it to be tinged with that much more radiance. I think creating a painting like this is like creating a piece of jewelry. You refine each facet a little at a time until the overall effect is one of complete radiance. This particular painting really glows as you dim the lights. I really enjoy this effect. In fact, many collectors may not realize that I have a dimmable easel in my very own studio, and I can darken that room and take my painting in to check the effects of light. When you dim the light very slowly on this painting, you'll see that it's as though evening is falling, and you have the glow of the lighthouse itself and some of the highlights in the sky begin to get that much more radiant. As you bring the lights back up, it is as though daybreak is returning and the glow of the new day is beginning to warm the scene. I had fun with the little details that speak to the everyday life of a lighthouse keeper. For example, I enjoyed the table and chairs that sit upon the lawn, suggesting that the lighthouse keeper has relaxed there, perhaps looking out at the beautiful sunset as he enjoys an evening cup of tea. I couldn't resist placing the antique gazebo nearby. There actually was a gazebo that we were able to see during our visit to the Marblehead Light. Of course, it was a few hundred yards down the coastline, but I took the liberty of bringing it in nice and close so that we can have the sense of the lighthouse keeper and his daily life. I wanted this to be a very cozy lighthouse. Many of my lighthouses are quite grand. This one is more intimate, and it allows you to imagine yourself living there. As I looked upon this vintage lighthouse, I was struck with how charming it would be to lead the solitary life of the lighthouse keeper. I just think there's something so romantic about the idea of living right on the water's edge. We look out into the infinity of the horizon, and we notice 4 boats that are making their way to sea. Perhaps these are symbolic to me of my 4 daughters. After all, this year we celebrated as a family that our oldest daughter departed for college. What an amazing process that is as a parent when you realize that you prepare your children for their own life, and gradually you have to let go a little bit at a time as they make their way into the world. To me, the sailboat sailing out into the horizon is symbolic of the process of life. After all, each of us sails forward into our destiny. And oftentimes we don't know what lie beyond the horizon, but we have to trust in God's hand as He guides us. Serenity Cove, like all my paintings, is a way for me as an artist to reach into deep places of my own emotions and try to share it with other people through a painting. I think that all the paintings that I create are really a way to bring something positive into the home atmosphere. As an artist, I've always had the mission of creating things of beauty. I just think when God gives you a talent, that's a chance to use it to bless other people. And I've so often been at events and heard from people that the paintings bring them comfort, bring them joy in their home. To me, that's the message of Serenity Cove. Tomorrow is another day. There's always hope just over the horizon.